So you might be looking up at this board thinking, what the heck is Mr. G thinking putting the same problem in one spot and in another with a right and a wrong above it? Well, we're going to discuss the order of operations, or the order by which you do operations like multiplication, addition, subtraction, division, some parentheses, and down the road these things called exponents. So the order by which you do those operations, and there's a rule for that. So we're going to look at what happens when we use the correct rule, and then what happens when we don't use the correct rule in this part of the video. And then the next part of the video, we're going to talk about why the order of operations makes sense and how it works. Should be pretty cool. So the right way to do this problem is by first doing multiplication. So to do multiplication, first, we do that before we do addition. So I do 8 times 7, and that gets me 56. And then you're basically copying down what you've already done there. And then I do 5 plus 56, which is 61. Then the wrong way of doing it would be doing the addition first. So we look at this, the addition first, that would be 13 times 7. And then 13 times 7 is 91. Now let me make it very clear, this is the wrong way. But we see right away that there's a big difference between doing it the correct way and the incorrect way. And it's not that we added wrong or multiplied incorrectly here, it's the order of the addition and multiplication that we did incorrectly that gave us such an incorrect answer. We'll check out and see why the order of operations is the way it is and how to use it in the next little part of this video. In this part of the video, we're going to be looking at why the order of operations is written the way that it is, and really applying that order of operations to two minorly different examples and seeing how we get drastically different answers using the correct order of operations and how parentheses make a huge difference. So without further ado, the order of operations goes very simply like this. Parentheses, right? So we do those first, or grouping symbols. Multiplication or division, and I drew an arrow above the multiplication or division part because you do multiplication or division first, going left to right. So if division comes before multiplication, reading left to right, then you're going to be doing division first. Just depends on what happens first, reading left to right. Then finally addition or subtraction, again going left to right. The main idea here, guys, is that parentheses takes the ultimate seat. It's almost like we look at the order of operations as the most powerful operation, the most effective operation goes first. And parentheses drastically changes a problem more so than multiplication, division, addition, or subtraction. And then why does multiplication or division come next? Well, multiplication or division are repeated versions of addition and subtraction. So if I'm adding 3 to 4 versus multiplying 3 by 4, well, multiplying 3 by 4 is repeatedly adding 4 3 times, right? But adding 3 to 4 is just a one-time addition piece. So multiplication gets the more powerful matchup, so to speak, and so it comes before addition. Likewise with division or subtraction. Multiplication or division, being opposites of each other, get the same billing, the same level, and we've determined go left to right how we read it. And then addition or subtraction, the same thing. They get the same billing, the same level of power. Again, going left to right. So we developed the order of operations so that when we're speaking math, someone who writes one problem one way and another problem the same way in two different areas of the world can get the same exact answer as long as we follow our order of operations. So I want to show you just the power of parentheses to prove to you that it is the most effective part of all of these steps and thus should go first. Okay, so in this section here, we've got parentheses with 8 plus 4. So we do those first. And then from there, we get 12 times 10, which is 120. Now, had we not had parentheses, let me just show you what happens. Not having parentheses and just doing multiplication or division first yields 8 plus 40. And then from there, that's 48. That's a big difference with dealing with those parentheses or not dealing with those parentheses. And so parentheses have a drastic impact on the problem and thus come first. So know those order of operations, know them well so that if you were saying, basically it's kind of like saying hello to somebody. And if I say hello to somebody, I expect them, if they know English, to understand that I'm greeting them. Not saying, wow, that shirt looks really ugly, right? And how does that connect with this? Well, if you have one person operating this differently than another person, they're speaking two different languages, getting two completely different meanings out of the situation. The order of operations is the root of all things in mathematics.